And we are live. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Um, it has been a cool minute um, since we started doing this. So while I wait a little bit for people to kind of join in at the same time, I do want to welcome everybody back. It is 2021, so starting off the new year, and yeah, for this episode, I'm going to kind of focus on Google Fi, um, its beginnings and where it's at right now. But we'll wait just a little bit for people to kind of join in. When you're joining in, please feel free to say hi, what's up, how's it going, how's your 2021 starting out, all that good stuff. Um, Also, I do want to shout out the channel members again. Those people who have become members of the channel. I really appreciate you guys for doing that and holding it down. Yeah, it's been a rough couple of months, but we're gonna get right back on track. So that's the good thing about it. Let's see what's going on in chat right now. So we got Gene in the building. What's up, Gene? How's it going? I like this new bubble effect. StreamYard's kind of picking it up here, and we got Red Rum in the building. What's going on? How's it going? We'll still wait for more people to kind of join in. Um, Let me know how the audio is, if the audio is going okay. Um, Literally just like right now, it's sunny, so I'm trying to have it like angled in a position where it's the sunlight's not going to interfere too much. And but yeah, please tell me how the audio is right now. I can definitely hold the mic closer if it'll sound better. Um, but before I get into talking about Google Fi, so yesterday, and I didn't even know this until I watched the replay, but um, from um, Google Stadia basically allows you to live stream your gameplay directly from Stadia, like on a Chromebook. So technically, if I wanted to do gameplay on the YouTube channel, I don't have to use StreamYard and do like a split window type thing. I can just game. So I'll probably be doing that going forward. And I don't even know how this mic got dirty, so I'm gonna have to clean this mic later. But audio sounds great. That's good. That is good to know. Um, so yeah, it was actually pretty cool. Now I didn't know because I didn't have this microphone connected to my Chromebook when I was playing on Stadia. So I didn't know if the native mic was actually picking up sound or not. But testing it out, doing a test playing Power Rangers Battle for the Grid on Stadia, I did hear myself in the replay, so obviously the mic was working. I just gotta fiddle around with it some more and see. I don't think there is a way to have like a small window up that shows me, like overlaid on the gameplay itself. So, but I'll be doing more of that here on YouTube. Definitely. We do more gameplay on Stadia and just kind of show you guys what kind of games they got. They update their library every month, especially what they give to Stadia Pro members. Um, Looks like I'm being bugged by flies. I hate that. That's the only thing I don't like about being in the backyard is flies. And yes, I have bed hair, so please excuse the bed hair. Um, yeah, it's a, it's it's a it's hump day. That's all I can say. It's hump day. It's Wednesday. So, um, but anyways, how are you guys doing? How was your New Year's? Please fill me in on that. And also let me know if the stream is going good. I'm actually using the AT&T line with hotspot to do this live stream. So um, let me know. Let me know if it's glitching in and out, that type of stuff. Um, I thought it was kind of funny because I'll take myself off the window for a second, so I'm not disappearing. But the wallpaper that I put in the background for StreamYard, I thought was kind of funny. So watch this. So like it has like a VHS cassette tape. It has a regular music cassette tape, it has a floppy disk, and a hard disk. It's kind of weird, but I thought it was kind of cool to see that. So I just set that as a wallpaper. Because I don't think anyone really understands, the struggle from back in the day with floppy disks, right? The way that technology is right now, yeah. I mean, I've seen YouTube videos where people will walk around like in a city downtown with a floppy disk and go to like a young kid who's probably like maybe between 15 and 18 and then see if they know what it is. And hardly anyone knows what a floppy disk is. So I mean that tells you that goes to show you. Um, but anyways, so let's see. Sound great. Just got my new router. Nice, nice. Oh, who's your ISP? I remember that. I've used them. Yeah, I use them in school. I don't know if you guys remember or if your school did this, but in elementary, um, I think it was like once or twice a week we would have computer labs. We would go. They would have these Macintoshes set up, and yeah, you would use floppy disks, run programs. What's up? No, you. How's it going, man? So yeah, that's why I remember floppy disk from elementary school. Using paint and like drawing with the mouse and everything. That's like weird. Spectrum? What about Spectrum? Mm. Sorry about that. So you got your new router and you're with Spectrum. How's the service? How's Spectrum working out for you? Like I'm kind of curious because I don't know. I think we do have Spectrum here. I just don't know like how good it is. So we got Cox Internet, and Cox Internet is just straight trash. Is garbage. Literally, I'll say that it's garbage. CenturyLink here is no better. I mean, I don't know. I haven't used CenturyLink in a while. And the last time I used it, I lived on the south side of Phoenix, and it was garbage then. But I don't know if it's gotten any better now. Let's see. Rum says it's flawless. Can't complain. Haven't checked speeds yet. Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Google Fi. That's what I'm going to talk about today, right? And I think I got like so much limited time before Jerome goes live today for his podcast. So we'll just go through in on it. How many of you guys actually have used Google Fi? Just let me know in the comments if you guys did. But interesting where Google Fi has gone from what it was several years ago to what it is right now. Obviously, the Sprint and T-Mobile merger played a huge effect with Google Fi. And I just bumped the table, so that's not really good. Makes everything shaky. But I remember like way before. I mean, people were just wondering like what was the deal with Project Fi? Because that's what it was known for as before, and it was an invite only thing. So like at the very very beginning infancy of Fi, it was in its project stage. You had to have an invite to join up with them. You couldn't just sign up just yet. And the more later Nexus devices were the devices that were supported. They had to be what they call Fi capable, which is kind of crazy because Fi capable devices meant that it was able to actually switch between networks. So at the very beginning of Project Fi, it was just Sprint and T-Mobile. US Cellular wasn't in the mix just yet. So you would switch between Sprint, T-Mobile, depending on which one had, strong coverage. Let's see. Gene says, I don't like the network, which is T-Mobile. Well, T-Mobile's getting better, actually, surprisingly. T-Mobile's better now. I use T-Mobile prepaid. Oh, okay. But yeah, you had T-Mobile, you had Sprint. Really what you had when you're on Project Fi. Now, the crazy thing is that it was supposed to, that was one of the major selling points of Google Fi was its smart switch capability with Fi capable devices. So, being that it was supposed to be smart enough to know which network in the current location that you were at had the best coverage, it would switch and connect to that network. So, if it was T-Mobile, it would run on T-Mobile. If it was Sprint, it would run on Sprint. But let's say like you went to a different town, and in your hometown, T-Mobile's mostly boss in your area, right? But let's say you go to another town and Sprint seems to be the more dominant one. Um, so then it would actually switch and flip to Sprint. It was able to do that, but um, you can also manually force that, right? There are dialer codes that you could dial into the phone that would force it for a temporary time to be on a specific network, because the smart switch wasn't all that smart. Sometimes, like T-Mobile would be trash, and it would like connect to it automatically. It wouldn't switch over to Sprint, even though Sprint was probably pulling better speeds, depending on what bands it was connected to. It was pulling better speeds, so you had to actually like manually force that. And of course, there were apps that you could download in the Google Play Store that allowed you to do that without having to use dialer codes. So, FiSwitch was an app that I used, and it just opened up a little spot on the notification shade on your device when you drop down, and it had three buttons. Because later on, Google Fi incorporated US Cellular, so US Cellular was brought into the mix, and yeah, now you had like three carrier support. Even though well, the beginning stage of the US Cellular was CDMA, but yeah. Anyways, hey, look who joined us. Hey, babe. Um, but yeah, five was very unique. It was very unique. Basically, it was $20. What they call Five Basics, right? That was unlimited talk and text, and then you paid $10 per gig, which seems a bit pricey. $10 per gig. However, you can control your phone bill. You can make your phone bill like absolutely cheap. And I think it was like one of the biggest things that sold me on Google Fi was that you can make your phone bill really cheap. Because if you already have home Wi-Fi, and if you're at your job and your job has Wi-Fi, then you're rarely using like the actual network connection. Rarely. I mean, one of the big benefits of Google Fi was the fact is that there was a lot of open hotspots that Google had partnership with, and therefore your device would automatically connect to those networks, those Wi-Fi networks. Um, I mean, I know some of them are not the greatest, right? Like I don't know if you guys ever use McDonald's Wi-Fi, but that one's trash as hell. You can't do anything on McDonald's Wi-Fi. Oh man, let's see. We got Oscar in the building. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? We are doing good, Oscar. How are you doing today on this wonderful Wednesday? Depending on where you're at, though. Um, yeah. So, I've said it before in past videos where I've done videos and talked about coverage with Google Fi and why I seem to keep reverting back over to them. One of the biggest things, for me was the creation of what I call the unorthodox family plan, right? Um, Me and the wife, we had actual full Google Fi lines, but you can add data only SIM cards, and I don't know if they changed it now, but I do know that there's not a limitation to how many data only SIM cards you grab, because I think I have five. I have five data only SIM cards that I can stick into any one of my Android phones, or even a couple of the iPhones that I have, and it will supply data. Now, of course, the caveat to that is that those data only SIM cards only can connect to T-Mobile's network, which doesn't really mean anything now because Sprint is gone. But back then, when you had Sprint and T-Mobile and US Cellular, data only connected to T-Mobile. So there was no smart switching or anything like that, and that was just because it was just based on the radios and the modem that was inside the device that allowed it to smart switch. The SIM card doesn't actually do the smart switching. So data only SIM cards connected to T-Mobile network, but still, nonetheless, I mean, you can have devices that were connected. Um, if you had a LTE tablet, you stick that in there and get connection on that. If you had a laptop or Chromebook that had like an adapter port that you can stick a SIM card in it, you would get LTE coverage on that. So you can create what I called the unorthodox family plan, where me and the wife had Google Fi lines that full-fledged phone numbers. Um, we had texting and of course data. But my kids, I give them my older smartphones, so they can play like Minecraft or whatever game that they were interested in from the Play Store. And they didn't really need a number. Plus, I didn't want them having a number because all those scam calls and things like that that happen. So yeah, they used the data only SIM cards. And the thing about it was that it wasn't additional data that you were paying for. You weren't paying for an additional line. Literally, like if a data only SIM card was ordered under my phone line, then whatever phone had that SIM card in it, whatever data it used, it counted it like it was my phone using it. So if like my actual physical phone, I use 10 gigs, and then say my daughter used 10 gigs on her phone, then on my line it would show that 20 gigs was used. That's how it would work. So yeah. Um, and I called that the unorthodox family plan. Literally, it was like I could have 10 lines for $120. You know, it is what it is, right? One of the biggest caveats to Google Fi was that they still incorporated taxes and fees. So if it was 120 for 2 lines, you were literally paying like one. Well, at least for me, because taxes vary depending on what state you live in. But I was paying like 131, 132 a month for 2 lines. That's what taxes and fees involved in there, which a lot of people were like really butthurt about that because everyone was just on that flat rate, $50 flat rate, $50 flat rate thing. So everyone was just pretty much on that. Let me catch some of these comments here. Gene says, I gave my Pixel 3 to my friend and I ordered a used new one from Amazon, which the color is called not pink. It's a new used Pixel 3. A new used Pixel 3. Like a refurbished, certified refurb. Is that what you get? Or is that what you ordered? Not bad. The not pink one is like a peach color. It's kind of cool. Um, shout out to Ray because Ray was able to find a Pixel 4a 5G, and I think he got it for $180. Man, you just gotta look. Just gotta find those deals. Red Rum says doing well. Okay. Oh, Oscar and Rum are having a conversation. Ha. See, there's lots of texts and they call unknown. Yeah, yeah. I get them all the time. Stepping away for a minute. All right, cool. Take it. We'll see you back here in a little bit. Taking a break from doing homework. Question, Tito. Do you still use Text Now Wireless? I have the SIM cards from Text Now. I haven't stuck them in any phones, but they are still active lines as long as they were lines that you got like before Sprint was shut down. Yeah, you'll still be able to use them on LTE. Yeah, refurbished, $149.99. Yeah, see if you found Ray's deal for literally $31 more, you would have got a Pixel 4a 5G. Ray was lucky on that. He chatted with me yesterday on Facebook, and when he told me that he found a Pixel 4a 5G for $180, I was like, dang, you lucky son of a gun. I mean, yes, I got a Pixel 5, but I kind of want to see what the hype is behind the Pixel 4a 5G. Which we'll get into a little bit of talk of the Pixel 5a, the rumors and stuff like that flying around already. Um, that's some crazy stuff. But anyways, so I mean, Project Fi just had a lot going for it. This is the reason why that I would always continue going back to them. It had a lot. It still has a lot going for it. The potential with it is actually really good. I just wish that there was some sort of way that they could strike a deal, maybe with AT&T to kind of fill that void that with Sprint being gone. Because I mean, like, yes, technically Sprint is gone, but as far as like the connection for Google Fi, it's not really gone. There's a lot of Sprint's assets as far as like their towers, their spectrum and everything. Obviously, was taken over by T-Mobile, right? And so you're really not missing a beat, really, when it comes to like network connection. depending, unless there's like certain areas where Sprint's towers were decommissioned, and then you'll notice some differences in connection there if you had Google Fi and you were using it in that area. But I mean, it'd still be nice to have 3 carrier support. AT&T would be, I think it would be it, because Verizon's hella expensive. Verizon is hell of expensive for an MVNO to lease um, part of their network, right? Which obviously, I mean, that's like having visible. That's like having visible service, right? Visible wireless. It's just so weird. I mean, they're not as visible, and when you say visible, I mean, not a lot of people get you're referencing a prepaid company. Um, and if you say visible wireless, obviously people get it. Anyways, yeah, I just wish that Fi would have 3 carrier support, but that's wishful thinking. You know what I mean? What I have noticed lately is that they've actually gotten a little bit better. When I did that live stream on Instagram and I talked about, what was shocking to me about the network connection and how my service was, using AT&T Business Elite and then using a Visible Prepaid, which runs off Verizon, and then Google Fi, which runs off of T-Mobile and US Cellular. And surprisingly, on my trip back, when I was making my way back home, Google Fi actually was better. I mean, it put Visible in third place between the 3 phones, and put AT&T in the middle. Because there was areas where like AT&T was just dropping connection, just literally dropping connection, and then yeah, Fi was just maintaining. Let's see. Hey, that OnePlus guy. What up? Aloha, bro. How's it going? Awesome. Let's see what we got here. Missing the headphone jack. I think a lot of people are, but a lot of things is moving wireless anyways. It's getting to that point. We're like at the point of no return. See, I remember my first phone was Sprint. I think a lot of people could remember their first phones with whatever carrier they signed up with. Actually, my first phone service was with AT&T. Now that I think about it, I was thinking about it the other day. I had the Nokia. I don't know which model number it was. It wasn't the 3310. Um, it was really small. Uh, but anyhow, yeah, the service was with AT&T before AT&T was bought by Singular Wireless, which then converted name over to AT&T. So, yeah, I had AT&T service. It was crazy. But going back to Fi. So, one of the other things that really and these features just started coming along um over time. I think one of the biggest things here, and let me screen share this so you guys can see. Right. So Fi international coverage and okay, wait. Okay, let me stop that. A bigger map launched. So let me just open that tab. Hang on. So we'll screen share this one. Yep. So as you guys can literally see, Fi's got you covered where you go traveling, right? So according to this map here, the spots that are green support SMS, voice calls, which are non-Wi-Fi calls, and data at high speeds, right? So basically LTE coverage. Where it's red, that's where you get SMS over Wi-Fi only. So if you connect to any like open Wi-Fi hotspots, like say in Sudan or in Ethiopia, even in Iran or Syria, if you connect to a Wi-Fi hotspot, you get your text messages over that. And then the places that are like a dark gray, those are no service, which obviously Greenland is one of them. I'm surprised they don't have Antarctica shown on this map. But anyways, yeah. you're pretty much covered in most places around the world, especially in China, which is actually the crazy thing. And I talked about it how Android Authority went to China and they were able to access certain websites that is blocked by what they call the Great Wall, and they're not referencing the actual structure, the Great Wall of China. What they mean by the Great Wall is that China has censorship and restrictions on what its people can see and view. And so if you have Google Fi, say like China blocked access for its people to access Facebook, you have Google Fi, you're in China, your device will access Facebook. It is not stopped by the Great Wall. So, I mean, you'll be able to do what you need to do on Google Fi, no matter where you go. But one of the most recent things is that Google Fi has support for domestic calls internationally. I know that sounds weird, but like my mom lives in Thailand. My biological mom, she lives in Thailand, and with my mom being there, what she needs to get back on class now. Um, hey, what's up, Coffee? What's going on? So we got Coffee joining in here. Yeah, hey, if we're not doing a podcast and like this in a couple of weeks, kind of cool to see everybody coming back. And I hope your New Year's was great. Sun, t-shirt. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's not that cold. I mean, but anyways, so with Google Fi, my mom's in Thailand. I can call her. It's not an additional per rate charge for me to call to Thailand. So I can call my mother and talk as long as I want. We're good. It handles it like it's a domestic call in the US, like calling long distance to a friend. And geez, a dog Opie is just growling at everything that makes sounds. So I mean, that's a good thing, because I do want to keep in touch with my mom. As you know, she gets pretty lonely out there. So talking to me, kind of like cheers her up, or when she talks to my sister. So that's a huge big benefit when it comes to Google Fi that I enjoy. I mean, there are some caveats. Don't get me wrong. There are some things about Google Fi that's kind of sad. One of them is that your unlimited data is capped, I think, at 22 gigabytes, and then it's slowed down. So it's not even deprioed. I would be more happier if they were like, okay, if you pass 22 gigabytes, on your bill cycle, we're gonna deprioritize you during busy hours. I would be okay with that, but to completely throttle you down to literally 2G speeds, right? 128 kilobits per second, that's considered like 2G speeds, right? Yeah, sure, you'll be able to open Facebook. You'll be able to open up a web browser and search something, search for a restaurant or whatever. And the one thing you're not going to be able to do, which people like to do, is view videos on YouTube and stuff like that. Even if you had it in 480p DVD quality, it would just buffer so much. That's a sad thing because you have like say what Metro by T-Mobile does 50 gigs before they decided to throttle. I think if that's safe to say. If it's changed, someone let me know. Um, but most carriers do they do more. Try VPN. Yeah, you could try to mask your usage. I don't know if VPNs will actually do that though. Not entirely sure. So I mean those are some of the things that it's kind of sad. Of course, what was it like last year? Google Fi finally decided to do what a lot of people were asking for. They were asking for an actual unlimited plan. It is kind of pricey, right? Google Fi's unlimited is $70 a month, and that's before taxes and fees being included. A lot of people are like, well, you can get unlimited with $50 from Cricket, or you can get it from this thing and that thing or whatever. But I think to me, I kind of understand why it's at $70. I mean, you still have US Cellular for support. So you still have a two carrier support with Google Fi. You have the international calling. which a lot of the MVNOs don't have, right? Like if you want to be able to call, I mean, some of the prepaids have it where you can call to Canada and Mexico for free, but like if you got family that's say in Laos or in Vietnam, China, or whatever, there's not a lot of prepaid company that says unlimited talk and text to Canada, Mexico and China. You know what I mean? Like Southeast Asia and everything's not really is not ever really included in those types of things. So with Fi, you get that, right? You get the support of data only SIM cards without no additional charges on that, and your phone also works when you travel internationally. So I hear a lot of people that say that Google Fi is mainly good just for that person that travels, and they're kind of right on that. But it still plays to your advantage even if you don't travel outside the US. It still does. So while people say that $70 is steep for Google Fi for unlimited service, what you're getting out of it is not. I mean, you're getting the unlimited talk, text, and data that most MVNO prepaids do. So that's $50 right there. And then considering that you're paying another $20 for international use, unlimited international calling to to countries that are listed. I think it's like 100 and oh man, I can't remember how many. I know it's over 100, over 100 plus countries, right? And then support on two different carriers, U.S. Cellular, T-Mobile. So let's say that the additional $20 is to cover that. Boom, $70 unlimited. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, in my opinion, and that things are looking on the upside for T-Mobile means it's on the upside for Google Fi. I cannot complain there. Um, Also, recently Google Fi incorporated Family Link and certain features and things like that within Google Fi when you have a family plan. So, like, if I did decide to, um, get both my daughters actual full-fledged phone lines from Google Fi, um, because I have Family Link, it adds controls within Google Fi for me to protect them, especially from like spam calls and spam messages, scamming alerts and stuff like that, and blocking numbers, only allowing specific numbers that are in their phone contact list to be able to call. It added those things into it. So when you really look at Google Fi from what it was before, from an invite only Sprint and T-Mobile, you know, MVNO piggybacker, and using Nexus phones like the Nexus 6, the Nexus. I don't remember the Nexus 5 was supported, but I know definitely the Nexus 6 was, because they did have that Project Fi care package where you you got the Nexus 6, you got like a case for it, a power bank, and some weird headphones. So they had those things. Um, yeah. Ah, pretty interesting. So, anyways, anyone that watches a replay on this and is like thinking about giving Google Fi a shot, I'm gonna have a link posted later on. This link gets you $20 credit for signing up with Google Fi. Also gives me a $20 credit for referring somebody. So I'll have that. Because yeah, you could do that and save some money on your bill. Um, does anyone have any questions about Google Fi before I move on to the Pixel 5a? Because that's what we're gonna talk about here real quick before I call it a day. Try not to be too long with these, um, but I do know that there's a try to find some info on it. Let's see. Nope. If there is any questions, I'll get back to it here. Let me screen share this real quick. Let's talk about the Pixel 5a because we've been hearing a lot of things about another Pixel device. I mean, there was at one point where people thought there was a Pixel 5 Pro or Pixel what was it, Pixel XE? Something to that extent. All right. So Yeah. Oh, look at that. T-Mobile ad. We talked about T-Mobile and everything, and now their ads is there. Google is listening. Anyhow, Pixel 5a release date, price, features, and news. Of course, they got a picture of what looks to be the Pixel 4a. So they're already talking about it. And first of all, people are probably wondering, why are they even talking about the Pixel 5a? You know, the Pixel 4a just recently came out. And, you know, people are right. Um, let's see. You hope Google's listening. Oh, but yeah, people are right. You know, the Pixel 4a, you know, did go pre-order on August 3rd of last year. Came out towards late late August. At least the pre-orders did. And then what, in November they released the blue version of the Pixel 4a. So that wasn't that long ago. But yeah, look back when the Pixel 3a came out, it was unveiled at Google I/O, right? It was unveiled at Google I/O in 20, let's say 2019. Yeah, May of 2019. The Pixel 3a came out. So initially, I guess the time cycles of these releases, right? You know, October, September, October, you know, the flagship Pixels come out. So was like, you know, the Pixel, say Pixel 3, Pixel 3 XL would come out in October. And then the A series, which is the budget of that particular one, comes out the following year at their I/O event, which is a spring release. So spring release for the budget, fall release for the flagship. That was their thing. So it looks like that Google's going to stay on cycle if they're going to be bringing out a Pixel 5a to drop probably March, April, or May, depending how things go. It'd be very interesting to see. So, anyways, so it's, you know, this is a verbatim from phonearena.com. So if you guys want, let me just you guys know me. I'll drop the link. If you guys want to read it later on, there it is in chat. Okay, so verbatim. Last year, Google released two fairly different A phones, the Pixel 4a and the 4a 5G. Shared the 4a moniker, but the 4a 5G was closer to the Pixel 5 spec-wise. Well, obviously, it had to be. You're talking about it had to use a Snapdragon 765G, which has the X52 modem in it, which can connect to NR bands. And yeah, the Snapdragon 730G was not a 5G capable chip. So obviously it's going to share a lot of the same specs that the Pixel 5 had. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm just being a jerk there. Both, however, stayed true to the Pixel line, offering Google's own vision for Android top-tier camera performance on a budget. But that was 2020. It's 2021 now, and we're looking towards the future of the Pixel 5a should be waiting for us. Little has leaked about this device. Actual information is quite limited. So far now, we'll fill in the blanks with our best educated guesses. So they're going to be guessing in this article. So I would tell people don't take this as gospel. Take it with a little grain of salt. All right, so here's what they say. This is what Phone Arena's predictions is for this. Price is a sensitive matter, especially when it comes to budget phones, even more so now as OnePlus is close to releasing its budget OnePlus Nord N10 in the US, which I believe it already did. Rishi talked about it in a live stream, I think last night, because he was talking about Carl Pay them leaving OnePlus, and I think he made mention of this. So yeah, the OnePlus Nord N10 I think is already out or was already announced for US. Okay, but anyways, so continuing on with this. So the OnePlus Nord N10 in the US had a price tag around $400. The Pixel 4a cost $349, while the more expensive 4a 5G costs $499. For the Pixel 5a, our expectations is that it will come somewhere in the middle, around $450. I doubt it. I think they're gonna try to maintain that, probably $399, if they can. $399 is where I'm going with this. Is where I see it going. I don't 450. I don't know. You know, I don't know about it being that. But that's just me. Now this guy wants to bug me. He flew thousands of miles in the sky and came into my backyard and decided to bug me. Okay, so anyways, they're saying considering the late release of the Pixel 4a 5G, Google might want to keep it around even after the release of the 5a, which is the case. It would make more sense to price the newer device at $400. Of course, the price will mostly depend on what specs Google decides to put in the phone. Well, obviously. The budget Pixels are traditionally planned for release in the first half of the year, but last year, as many other things, the Pixel 4a release was delayed by a few months. Leave me alone. This is one of those buzzing ones. Ugh. Hopefully this year things will be back to normal. I don't know, but they're suspecting a Q2 release, so around May 2021. Oh, here we go. Specifications. All right, let me check the chat real quick to see what's going on in here. Okay, cool. All right, so it says here what they predict. The specs of the Pixel 5a won't be anything impressive. We can tell you that much without leaks. There are two prime candidates for the system chip of the next big budget Pixel: the Snapdragon 732G and the Snapdragon 695G. The 732G is the next generation of the chip that the Pixel 4a sports. However, it's not 5G capable, and it seems unlikely that Google will release a 4G only version in 2021. The 695G, on the other hand, fits the bill perfectly, as it will also allow Google to hit a $400 price tag and keep 5G on board. Yeah, I can see that, because I can see that the Pixel 5a would also be the last Pixel device to actually use Qualcomm's chip, since the Pixel 6 is said it's going to have Google's own dedicated in-house built chip. They're no longer going to Qualcomm, so I can see that Pixel 5a would be the last of that. But why not use the 765G or the 768G? I think that one has an over-the-air upgradable GPU. So I don't know. The 768 seems like an unlikely choice for the Pixel 5a, as it will put it ahead of the Pixel 5's performance. Possibly, but I mean, newer things should be better than older things. I mean, that's where I see this. And yeah, that's not a really good look for Google's flagship phones. Gotcha. So their guess is that the CPU is going to be the Snapdragon 690 5G. They're thinking it's going to have 6 gigs of LPDDR4 RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, 5G capable, Bluetooth 5.1, Wi-Fi 6. They think it won't have an IP68 rating for water and dust resistance, but it'll maintain the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. You know what's kind of funny though? Do you guys think the Pixel 5a would be the first to actually then incorporate getting itself IP rated for water and dust resistance? Who knows? Anyways, here's some of the mythical pictures that's been leaking on the internet. Apparently, the Pixel 5a is supposed to have an in-display camera that's hidden. I don't know how I feel about that. What do you guys think about that? Because I really don't know what to think about that at all. I just don't. I just don't know what to think. But in display, I mean, it's already weird enough as it is. We got the punch hole design, and so I figured that they were going with this in-display selfie camera because, yeah, I guess they want to be able to utilize the whole screen again. I don't know. I really don't know. Can't tell you guys. I think it's very strange, very strange. But then again, who knows? We'll see what happens. I mean, is a Pixel 5 a rumor that's just completely BS? No, it's not. It absolutely is not. Not at all. Because we do know that a Pixel 5a will be coming out this year, 2021. Question is any of these leaked photos and things that we're finding actually the phone? It possibly could be. Who knows, right? These days, it's kind of hard to really be like shocked and surprised when a new phone comes out because the leakers just ruin it for a lot of people. Now, unless you like getting leaks, then obviously you're not going to care. But um, there's some people who don't like leaks or whatever, whatnot. So, like for me, I'm like really treading on thin ice here because I don't want too much given to me. Like that article from Phone was all speculation. It's not to say that it will have the Snapdragon 690 G. It's not going to say that it's going to have 128 gigs of internal storage or 64 or whatever. This is just what they think it's going to be. And it could be a very well plotted guess considering Google's track record with the A series. We can see what happens with it. The only thing I do know is that it's this. There is a 5A, or there's going to be a 5A. I'm pretty sure they've already designed it, what it's going to look like. Will it have an in-display selfie camera that's hidden? I don't know. I've been hearing this because ZTE has done this already. The latest ZTE Axon phone has an in-display hidden selfie cam. Now, not a pop-up camera. It's not a camera that's going to pop up from the body of the phone. It's under the display. So who knows? Google could have adopted that technology. Will that be in the Pixel 5a? I don't know. Who knows? It might not be. I don't really see them doing that, like introducing, like new tech into a budget end device before their flagship of that year comes out. I don't know. I would see this being introduced with the Pixel 6, not the Pixel 5a. That's just me. I would see them doing another punch hole selfie cam with the Pixel the Pixel 5a, and then doing the in-display, under display selfie cam with the Pixel 6 and then the Pixel 6a and further. Really, would I want them to bring back Project Soli? Yeah, I would love to see that back. I think that the Pixel 4 would have been awesome if they actually used a really good sized battery. Like for the Pixel 4, put in a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, and for the Pixel 4 XL, put in a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. Do you know how killer that would have been with, 90 hertz refresh, right? Project Soli with the sensors, motion sense, being able to kind of slightly control your screen just by waving over the sensors. It would have had enough battery to do it, but who knows? Wow, that sounds crazy. Yeah. Sounds kind of weird looking. Well, I mean, do I know when the Pixel 5a would come out? There's no definitive date. Like I said, and like a lot of people speculate, possibly May. But who knows? Because they can always say that a certain pandemic thing is throwing a monkey wrench in production. So they could, delay it another month, another month, another month, another month. Who knows? Or maybe Google could be switching up their schedule and then going a different route. It just really depends. Really depends on what Google wants to do. So, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna call it at that, guys and gals. So I do want to thank everybody who showed up, came to watch, hung out, chatted with me during this episode here. Like I said, I'm doing one podcast a week, so it'll be next week Wednesday that I do another one again. And I'll try to have more topics to talk about them. But today I just kind of want to just kind of recap and relive Google Fi's glory days and talk a little bit about Pixel 5a. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys are smashing that like button. It really helps out the channel, helps circulate these replays and stuff like that. If you're part of the replay crew, hashtag replay crew. Let me know that you guys watched it on the After Effect. Of course, these things do take a while to process, so I will share the link. I will share this on YouTube. Just, check the little community tab thing and you will see my post that has the link to this. If you'll find it there. Again, like I do want to say again, shout out to the members of the channel. Thank you guys so much for being part of the team. You guys are awesome. If you guys want to follow me on social platforms, there I am. Twitter, and Instagram. Not so much MeWe. I tried using it. I really tried. I was scouts on it. I really tried using it, but it's just too much to juggle. And actually, Twitter's been kind of slow for me because I don't like the censorship thing going on with Twitter. So I've been mostly on Parler, just because I mean you're free to say what you want. Definitely free to say what you want. Anyways, yeah, that's been it. You know, we've been talking about Google Files. That's actually pretty much that. If anyone watching the replay or whatever has any questions about Google Fi, please leave your comments. I will get back to them as soon as possible. But yeah, until then, I will see you guys next week. Like I said, follow me on Instagram. Very active there. Videos are there, and live streams are there too as well. If you guys want more, so follow the gram. Link in the description. I'll see you guys next week.